Hi, today I want to show you how you can work with context inside of Toddle. Now, context can be very useful when you're using components and you want to pass on data that is on the page inside of the component. Now, let's take a look at how we can use context to kind of like streamline the way how we're working with components and to kind of like make, funneling the data through all the different layers of the onion simpler. So let's get right started with that. So first of all, I'm right now in the Toddle editor here, and first of all, we need to create a component that can actually make use of that context. So let's create a div, and this div, for example, has a heading. Let's do an h2 inside of the div, and so that we can see the div, we just want to make the background color white. Now, what's going to happen is let's do the usual example. Let's say we create a variable here called data, and the value will be hey, right? And we go to this text that we have inside of here, and we're going to click on fx to bind it with the variable. Now it's saying hey inside of here. Now, if I take this div and extract it as a component, let's call this component. Not too creative with names today. And if we just create a component, right, we're going to see that this variable is unlinked, right? So if I now go back to the page that has the component, it's undefined. Now, how do we get the data into the component? There are a few ways. The simplest way would be using attributes, but another way is context. Now, this example in this video, that's probably not the best use case for context, but I want to simplify it so it's easier to understand. So let's click outside of here and let's go and create a formula on the page, and let's call this value, for example. And now we can just click on expose in context. There you go. And now this formula should carry the value that we want to pass on into the child component. So I'm going to click on variable data, and now we have this formula that is exposed in context that is returning the value of the variable. Now, because I have this formula, I can access the value of this formula inside of the component by subscribing to its context. So let's click on the component here, and let's go on the fx here on the text, and as you can see, I'm not having the context inside of here. I can't bind it to that variable on the page. Now, in order to successfully do that, we need to click on contexts in the component, and then we can get the context from our home page in this example, and I'm just subscribing to this value formula. Now I'm binding the contexts into the component, and I can go on the fx inside of here. I can bind this with the value, and as you can see now, even inside of the component, I can see the data that is currently happening on the page. So now if I go back to the page, you see this component has the data that is in this variable on the page in it. And we can make it even dynamic, because I could simply add an input element here and go on attributes, bind this with the data variable, and now if I edit it, as you can see, it's actually not updating it reactively. Interesting. There you go. So this is probably some of the limitations when with working with context, as it seems. Oh no, there you go. It works beautifully inside of here. I was like, why isn't it working? There you go. Maybe we have to refresh the editor. Sometimes, refreshing the editor can be a miracle, but there you go. We now have the variable that is on the page here in the data, right? That's the current value, and we subscribe to that variable using contexts, using a formula. That's how we get it portable inside of our component. And that's how we can work with contexts. Now, this is an alternative to using attributes in components. Now, one thing though I want to note is this doesn't make the component reusable. For example, let's create a new page. We'll just call the page new, right? Let's just really quick set up a new page, 100 width by 100 width, center, and we're going to go background here, and now I'm going to dump in my component, right? Now we see it still says hey, but this doesn't have a hey variable, right? Because it actually now gets the data from the home page. So, you know, it kind of, so like I'm on this page, and this page is supposed to probably, let's say it has a different variable. Let's call this variable value data, right? And I know you should do camel case on those. And this is going to be 1 to 3. Now, I can't just like link it now. There is no, you know, I can't reuse now this context component. If I want to reuse it, I would kind of like create a formula and then bind it to that formula, but it doesn't make it reusable. So context has the downside of not being able to be fully reusable across pages. You are binding things to static formulas at that point. It can be helpful when you're building single page applications. An alternative to using contexts, and if you want to keep things highly dynamic, would be removing the context, right? And adding an attribute, because attributes is something you can compare to kind of like props in React, where you can just funnel in dynamic data into that web component. So I can create an attribute here called value, for example, and the sample value will be hey. And now that I have that attribute, I'll be able to funnel data in that component. I can go on fx inside of here, bind it to the attribute, and now on the home page, very simple, I would go on that component, go on attributes, go on fx on our value attribute, bind it with the data variable, and now it is this, you know, reusable as well, and that's how I can get data into the component. With the added benefit that context doesn't fully give us is on this page here, I can bind this variable to another variable, and I can reuse that component a little bit better than if it would be bound to contacts, because then I would have to subscribe to multiple contacts and all that kind of stuff. Context is great if you have a landing page and you're starting to componentize it, and you kind of like have a drawer element or all that kind of stuff, and you only will use it on that one page and you really need to get that variable data. That's where context can be very cool, very smart, but it does limit a little bit of the things that you can do. I personally prefer using attributes for those things, but I have to admit, when it comes to dark and light mode, I personally use contexts for those things because it just makes it simpler to pass on those things in there. It is about whatever makes development easier for you, not what other people try to convince you. So try both of those methods out and see what works best for you, and use whatever works best for you. And if you want to learn more about all those, you know, different things that you can do in Toddle, and if you want to become better at building web applications in Toddle, I would highly suggest you to take a look at nocodeprocode.com. You'll also find the link to join the community in the video description and in the pinned comment down below. It's the best community out there to, you know, learn how to build web applications and mobile applications inside of Toddle and Xano. And if you're ever unstuck, you can join our daily office hours. We have beginner office hours, we have expert office hours, where I'll personally help you get unstuck and overcome your roadblocks. So you always have kind of like that insurance that whenever you face a roadblock in Toddle, Monday to Friday, you can join office hours and you can get that problem solved inside of there. That's a beautiful value proposition. And there is so much more, not just the daily office hours that give you access to expert help, right? But you also get access to AI code generation tools specifically for Toddle, right? We have deep dive with experts. Today we had Ray, for example, right? We had also our expert office hours that lasted 2 hours, where we solved people's problems and we made sure that they are shipping and that they are progressing in their learning journey, but also more important, in getting their projects on the App Store, on the web, and wherever they're shipping them to. And then also, we also have courses going on inside of here, right? So I do have a whole course that I made yesterday about, you know, kind of like the basics of Toddle. We got much more courses. We got over 200 hours of courses and educational materials inside of here. Now, I've been bashed on the Discord for, where was it, naming basics, where I'm kind of like telling you how to name elements. I want to say it's not the best way to do those things, but Toddle doesn't let you name div blocks, so another option would be using custom classes. But, you know, just to follow up on that, sometimes you're not learning best practices, but those are my best practices, and they are proven and effective to show results and work and make your life way easier. And that's what it's all about: progressing, building great stuff, but also building stuff that you can maintain and you can understand at your current level of knowledge. And that's where we're hyper focused in office hours. And if you want to join for a little investment of only $129 a month, which is a great value proposition, you can join office hours and the whole community offering today to make sure that you're never stuck when building your web application or your mobile application or your Chrome extension inside of Toddle and Xano. I would love to see you inside of the community, and I can't wait to help you. But regardless on if you join or not, thank you so much for watching my channel. Thank you so much for sharing and subscribing and everything you do with my videos. I really appreciate that. I couldn't do it without your support, and I wish you a blessed day. See you soon.